And then at some point, I can't remember exactly that moment, what, how, when, why, but I decided I'm going to look for a clan. And then there was this post somewhere on forums, I believe. Even though I don't know how to do forums, I don't know how to do Reddit. I never did either. And one of the clans that were recruiting was Omni, and I read their description, and I was like, from all the clans that I came across that are recruiting, these guys sound the most hardcore. They sound the best, and the standards that they have are the highest of everybody else. And my stats are good enough. So there was no other clan on the planet that had a higher standard than Omni at the time. And I looked at my stats and I looked at their requirements, and I was above the requirements. But that's not enough. Just, being above the requirements is not enough. You need to prove yourself as a player. So I sent a message. I found their recruiter. I went into the game. I found the player in the game, and I sent him a message. Hey, I would like to join your clan. I hear you guys are hardcore. I'm hardcore. I'd love to compete. I'd love to be with the best. Would you give me a chance? And at this point, Omni existed. Well, for a couple of months since the game was out. And I think a lot of the initial players were there from World of Tanks as well. Potent? Yeah, I don't recall. Was he the recruiter? Maybe. And they were like, we'll get back to you. And then they were like, sure. We'll put you up as a trial. Join our TeamSpeak. Back in the day when we were using TeamSpeak. And you're gonna have 2 weeks or so to play with as many other Omni members as you can. And you're gonna have 2 weeks to play with the officers in Omni as well. And then everybody's gonna vote on you whether they think that you would be a good addition to the clan or not. And I was like, okay. So I tried to play with as many different people as I could in divisions. Obviously, tried to perform as best as I could and tried to be as relaxed as I could. Not just keep silent or pretend to be something I'm not. Like, I tried to be as relaxed as I could be and throw some jokes, but also hardcore work as best as I can in the game. And then my trial phase was over. The time came to vote on me, and they voted yes. And I was the Omni member. At the time, I remember the beginnings. At the time, there were community organized clan battles, and Omni at the time wasn't first. I think there was some German, I want to say guild for some reason because of Dune clan. And back then we were competing in 12v12. It was tier 8. Because at the time in World of Tanks, tier 8 was the ESL, not tier 10. You were competing with your tier 8s. So we recreated that in World of Warships. So clan battles, which were completely unofficial, were being done in tier 8 ships. It wasn't 7v7, it was 12v12. And there were no limitations. Good game, and I was a battleship main. I was playing with Amagi. I would have played with Turpets, but I didn't have it. And I was really good. But a lot of other people were really good with battleships as well. And we didn't need, and I've said this story many times, we didn't really need more good battleships. Even though I was doing things that some of the other guys weren't, and that got noticed. But we just had enough. And I wanted to be, with the best. Farah was the king in the CV. Not at the time. Not at the time. Farah was one of the 2 best carriers. But the better one at the time was Reite. Reite was also my... Between the 2, no offense to Farah, of course. Reite was my favorite between the 2. The teamwork that I had with Reite was amazing. That guy was simply an amazing carrier player, good person, approachable, and my team played more with Reite than with Farah, so I didn't really know Farah that well. Eventually, Reite couldn't play anymore. I don't know, was it college or something? And then Farah was there, who was the player. And Farah was amazing carrier player. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing Farah in any way, shape, or form. But between the 2, I always thought Reite was the GOAT when it comes to carrier. Anyway. And it came down to, I wanted to, but I was new, right? I was new in this clan. I mean, everybody was kind of new because it was a new game. But I was one of the latest additions, right? I mean, the whole guild, clan, whatever, didn't exist more than a few months in the game as well. But I wanted to be immediately with the best guys. But they already had a team that was playing. Of course, the clan wasn't too big, so there was always a chance to jump in. And there was multiple battles, and some battles where, oh, this brother, really? Oh, no way, dog. If it wasn't particularly important to win or lose, they would give some of the not in the first team players to play. But I wanted to be there. I didn't come there to be in the second team. I didn't come there to not compete. I didn't come there for the bragging rights or anything like that. I came there because I wanted to be with the best, play with the best.
Enemy destroyer sunk.
Be the best.
Smoke screen set.
So I would always ask, like, can I play? What do you need? And then they told me, I mean, if you want to play a destroyer, we're missing players to play a destroyer, because playing a destroyer was incredibly risky, incredibly hard. And people didn't really know how to do it really, really well. They knew how to do it really, really well with battleships, carriers, cruisers, but they didn't really know how to do it well with destroyers, and nobody wanted to play a fucking destroyer. Because everybody wanted to be damage dealer, everybody wanted to be not the guy that gets caught and killed in the front, they wanted to be one of the last guys that's gonna clutch the game and so on. And DDs were on the front line. They were always going to be the ones who get, caught and killed first. Because they were always focused far. They had the least amount of HP. And so on and so forth. Damn, I was hoping he was going to run into those torpedoes. So I was like, I desperately want to play. And if that means that I have to jump in and play as a destroyer, I will jump in and play as a destroyer. I didn't feel comfortable at all playing the DD. I didn't really know what I was doing, just like no one else. But it had to be done, and Mama raised no pussy, right? So I was like, fuck it. I'll do my best. What do you need me to do? Just, don't die. Because that was one of the biggest problems with destroyers. Like, they would just die. Don't die. Scout cap. Now, keep in mind, these were the times where there were no heals on destroyers, especially in tier 8. There was no RPF, and there was no hydro on DDs. You relied on pure intuition, skill, knowledge, calculations, timings. It was a very skillful game back then. Right now, you have radar, hydro, plane, RPF, heals, all this shit that didn't exist back in the day. Getting spotted and staying alive as a DD was not easy. Not easy at all.
Problem solved, sir.
So I was like, alright, I'm an escort. I'm gonna do what escort does best. I'm going to escort. And I always try to position myself just a little bit ahead of everybody else, which was mostly battleships back in the day, to scout for the torpedoes. I always try to position myself at an angle so I don't get caught flat broadside so that I eat torpedoes and die. Because then I scouted torpedoes just once and that's it for me. I always looked at the map where my ships are going so that I would mimic their movement. I was always aware of where everybody was, what everybody was doing. My positioning was always there for them. If they would get in trouble, my smoke was instantaneous. I was just doing really well with the DD simply by using my head. I didn't know what I was doing per se. Like, the meta wasn't invented back then. Like, you had to come up with something, and I was just using common sense and logic to you know, figure it out and do the best job that I can. And it got noticed because when it was time to pick the team, I started getting picked as a destroyer, like one of the main picks as a destroyer. And people that were in the chain of command at the time were noticing that, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to smoke screen, he knows how to dodge torpedoes, how to predict where the torpedoes are. He's paying attention to his team. He's not dying. He's doing his job. Like, everything is by the book. And so I became a DD main. Not because I wanted to. Not because I thought that I'm a natural for destroyers or that this is what I want to do. This is my class. But because no one else would do it. Someone had to step up and, you know, do the hard part.
Victory is in sight.
So I did it, and it worked out. And then with time, I became a lot more confident in my own ability to predict outcomes, to call torpedoes out before torpedoes were ever coming, communication with others, recommendations, pointing out the problems, working on the minimap till late hours, coming up with strats and counter strats and stuff like that. Like, I was really, really, really hardcore.
It's all on you.
And it worked out. And when we started competing, we were just, you know, we were beating the shit out of everybody. And yeah, the rest is history. And eventually, you know, I started streaming, people started watching. I was in a really good mood and joking a lot back then. The future was positive. I was loaded with positive emotions and feelings for this game, thinking it had a bright future, that I had a bright future and everything like that. Yeah, I was really, really happy where I was and where the game was going. But slowly over the years, yeah, the golden age. Slowly over the years, Wargaming made sure that they ruined everything. And everything started going down the toilet. Plus, I wasn't competing anymore. I was now costing tournaments. as a streamer, that was, I guess, more appropriate.
Smoke generator activated. Smoke screen set.
I have to delay B. And we win, I think.
The enemy is about to win.
I remember how cool it was watching you using reverse to trick a Wooster to shoot ahead during radar. Yeah,
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
I think I was one of the first, if not the first person who decided that once they got into the cap and got radar, was going to go in reverse instead of forward. Because I needed to come up with a solution. I needed to come up with a way to not die. Because you had to go in a cap, usually in the middle of the map. You had to go there, because the enemy was going to go there, and you can't let them have the cap. But everybody in the opposing team was going to be aiming at you. How do you stay alive? Because really good players were capable of taking a destroyer down in one radar. So you had to come up with a way to not die during that one radar. So I was like, what does everybody expect a destroyer to do when a destroyer gets radared? Right? They expect him to full speed and run away. Okay. What if I go in reverse? And back then, this is tier 8, old times. Back then, the only thing with a radar was a Chapayev, whose radar was only 20 seconds. So you didn't need to stay alive for too long. It was only 20 seconds. And I'm also going to lose this game now. Unless I can kill that Alaska. Okay.
Smoke generator activated.
Oh, he's gonna radar. But he also fired.
Turret critically damaged.
No, he got the cap.
Smoke screen set.
He was not supposed to get the cap.
Fire. Critical engine damage.
If I kill him, do we still win? Oh, there's the radar now. Rip. He needs to die right now. Die. Yes. Is it enough? Yes! Ah, fuck you! GG! We got it! Woo! So I decided I'm gonna reverse. And then everybody in the opposing team fired their guns and everybody missed. And everybody went, huh? What? And battleship reloads were usually back then 30 seconds. So they only had one shot and they all blew it. And I was like, that worked. Not only did we get the cap, but I didn't lose almost any HP and they blew one radar. Huge advantage to my team. Huge! And it was like, okay, how the fuck did you achieve that? What did you do? And then that started getting practiced even more. Now, I know some people are going to think that I'm just speaking out of my ass and that I'm bragging myself or anything like that. Like, that's truly not the reason why I'm saying you and telling you all this. The reason is because you know, kind of asked me. So one thing led to the other. But yeah, I believe that's how it started. And that, alongside a lot of other strategies, was one of the reasons that, you know, we were so good. We were the pioneers. We were coming up with things that were not done ever before. Like, we made meta. Omni was the clan that created metas. Every season, we were the ones who showed up with something new, and people were like, we don't know what the fuck they're doing, let alone how to counter it. And by the time they would figure out how to counter it, we had a new strategy. Of course, with time, you know, people would copy. They would study and copy you. And then you had to figure out how to counter your own strategy. So we did that too. But then people would copy our counter strategy so they can counter us, and so on and so on. And obviously, the longer the time passed, it was harder and harder to come up with a new strategy. But also, the game was changing because wargaming was introducing more and more stronger and overpowered and broken ships and mechanics, and some of the things were not changing. They were just equally broken. There was more radar, there was more hydro, there was more this, more that. And yeah, unfortunately, the golden days of this game are long, long, long time ago behind us. Which is sad. Which is sad because if World of Warships community has proven a couple of things, it's one, that they have a really hard time letting this game actually die, like properly die. And they're willing to spend endless amounts of money to keep the wargaming from ever changing their mind process. And recently that they can be extremely toxic. But yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Back then, it was everybody was a lot more positive because everybody saw this game and thought prosperous future, right? The only question is, where were you going to recognize yourself in that prosperous future? But for many years now, I'm looking at this game and I'm just waiting for it to die, really. But a lot of people want to watch me play this game and are not interested in other games, so I still play this game. I just wish I could have the enthusiasm for some of the other games as I had for this game. Because, you know, that would reflect on my mood and everything. But it is what it is.